let's say the 1970s, 1980s. I have over here one of the bus maps from 1974. And as you can see, as you can clearly see, if you haven't came up, there's hardly any bus service. But over the years, it changed. Bus lines have been added, but many Staten Islanders would say it's coming back to this. Not too many bus lines. One bus line that I want to talk to you about is the 7 bus line. It was the R7. Now, in the 70s, the buses all had in front of their number a letter representing the boroughs. Staten Island was a little interesting because instead of having S, it had R for Richmond County. But in 1976, that all changed. That is when it became S. So the route number stood the same, but the letter went from R to S. Now, also, fast forward to 1980. 1980 was a very important year because of a couple things. The fishbowl buses, which were blue and green at the time, that looked like this, became white. The MTA decided to paint them white, probably for 2 reasons. For insurance purposes, and the second reason is because it was easier to see at night. Also in 1980, the MTA contracted the Grumman Corporation, and they had about 300 Grumman buses. It was the first of its kind at the time. But as we all know, they didn't last too long. 4 years. I think within 1982, they found cracks in the bus line. So what happened? There was a shortage of buses. So we had to rent buses from Washington, D.C. There's a picture of it on Staten Island, Highland Boulevard, and Richmond Avenue. How many people remember these buses? A few of you remember. These are what the Grumman buses look like, which actually the MTA, I think, has 1 left. And if you come to the bus festival, you may see it. So, let's see what else here. Okay, now, transfers. How many people remember these paper transfers? Okay. Well, these paper transfers have been around. You get 1 free ride. But in the 70s, the financial state of New York wasn't too good. So the MTA had to find a way, let's generate some money. Somebody came up with the idea of what they call add-a-rides. Okay? An add-a-ride was you pay an extra quarter to get a transfer. Now, I'm going back to where the S7 bus is. There's the only local bus line going to Brooklyn. Guess what, folks? Every bus that connected to the S7, you had to pay a quarter to go over the Verrazano Bridge. What a concept. Well, they did that until about 1982, when they said, you know what, let's finally make it easy. So they went from these add-a-rides and the transfers. Now these transfers, just to let you know, had different colors for different parts of the route. They changed. After the bus had to go to a certain route, boom, the driver had to take it off, put it on. So they came up with these, blue and orange. Now these transfers had a 3-hour cutoff. So what happened is the bus driver would maneuver this up and down, kill it off, and that's when it expired. Now also with these transfers, you had to transfer at that intersection. You couldn't go 1 stop over, you couldn't go 1 step that way. You had to be in that time zone at that particular intersection. Okay. The other thing is, when I was in high school, we had to pay a nickel to get on the bus. We had to show a pass, we had to pay a nickel. And I can't tell you how many times I didn't have my pass, I paid a nickel, you're not going. One other thing I would like to speak to you is that 1983, one of the bus depots in Staten Island, it was on a pier. And guess what happened? That pier collapsed. Right, and the buses went right into the water. We lost a couple buses, but you know what, thank God nobody was hurt. And in 1988, somebody had the great idea of renumbering all the buses on Staten Island. Of course, that's gonna cause a lot of confusion, right? So somebody had the bright idea that the North Shore buses would be named the 40s, the Cross Island the 50s, the Victory Boulevard buses the 60s, and the South Shore the 70s. So that's what they've done in the mid 80s. It was confusion. Kind of fast forward to August of this year. They're going to redo that again with the express buses, but that's another topic. Okay. Is there any questions? Yes, go ahead.
They look to me, they look like block tickets when you transfer from a shuttle bus to a train, but how come they don't use those transfers between the bus and the subway like they do today, maybe?
Because at that time it was a separate fare. I believe it was Rudy Giuliani that wanted to make it one city, one fare. So they introduced the Metro card, and that allowed people to do the train to the bus.
Happy birthday, by the way.
Thank you.
Where did you get those books? Where did you get those little booklets of the transfers?
Okay. When I was a kid, you ever hear the expression, one man's trash is another person's transfer?
Not exactly that.
Okay,
way.
in Staten Island, there was a lot of woods.
Wow.
I was a little kid. Oh, excuse me. Oh, I got a transfer. Mine.
Okay.
And I kept it ever since.
Good for you.
You're all fucked.
Any other questions?
You were talking about the paint scheme of the buses. I remember reading a story about the police cars. They used to be blue and things like that, and then it became all white. And I said, why'd you do that? Wasn't it so police cars can be seen? He said white paint was cheaper, so that maybe that was one of the reasons too.
Well, the buses already had the paint scheme on it, you know, but for insurance purposes, you know, white, it's going to be cheaper because it's a safety issue. So they think, hey, this is a good idea.
I'm a Bronx guy.
Okay.
To be honest with you, I rarely venture into your borough. But would you say that the bus service and the train service is reliable compared to the other boroughs?
No. I'll be honest with you. The headways on Staten Island, it's a half hour, sometimes an hour.
Really?
The buses, what they did was when they renumbered the buses, they did everything to coordinate with the Staten Island Ferry.
Yeah, that's at Fort George, right?
Right, exactly. Back then, it was all different. They did, you know, and I thought it was a better schedule before they renumbered the buses.
So all the buses converge on
Most
Fort
of
George,
them,
right?
most
Because
of
of the ferry,
the majority,
right?
right. So, well, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you, Viviana. I want to thank you for having me. And everybody, I want to hope you enjoy your day, and thanks again.